There it
Yeah,
is. There it
there you
is.
go.
There are the
Ooh.
nominees, right? Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh.
Changing position, future position, bro. Travel the world and still a ball for your arm. Oh girl, how you doing? Take time, bro, with that climb.
Before we get into it, sorry we missed last week, guys. We had a whole situation recorded. It was a really great show we had recorded for you, and the recording software we were using destroyed our feeds. So we had one option, and that was to re-record it while we were devastated because we
Yeah.
recorded a really great show,
A
or
really great show. Just to it was amazing. It was
it,
amazing show that we just missed out on. It was terrible.
it it was bad. We were really mad, and but we've gotten that resolved. We've switched platforms. We think we're in a better spot, so we're going to try and make up for a little bit last week, and then we're going to try and give a little bit more this week. And we got some fresh stuff coming. So before we get into pleasantries, we got a new format of the show coming, so you can expect episodes of Odyssey Pod on Sundays, and you'll be expecting them another day during the week. I think we're talking about Thursday during the week. The Thursday pod will be more of a reaction, so that'll be more, in our feelings. With the episode kind of being a weekly recap, and that one will be a little bit more measured and more thoughtful in the content we bring. And as usual, we'll always bring you albums that have dropped on that Friday. May not have had a chance to digest them, but we'll bring you what we're going to listen to and what's hot, maybe what's popping for that weekend. And then that'll be our cadence going forward. So in the new year, look for a brand new Odyssey pod as we look to bring you some really dope music content. How you doing, Nene?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's very, very unfortunate, like we said, to have to lose that pod. That pod felt like a special one to us. so so that was very unfortunate. But we're back. It's just a little hiccup, just a little slip up. Nothing on our end. You know
Growing
what I mean?
pains, man. It's growing pains.
That is what it is. And we make adjustments, man. That's all you can do. It's the little things.
So if you've been rocking with us, we appreciate you rocking with us. If you just now rocking with us, again, we appreciate your patience. We're Young West Coast podcast, trying to gain our footing, and we're just going through some growing pains. So
Yeah.
with that, we'll get into it. What'd you do this week besides work? Don't you say
Nah,
work.
I'm gonna stay away from work, even though it was heavy this week.
Yeah.
I keep telling you that I'm just waiting till the holidays roll around. The holidays are getting closer and closer, and I'm
Yeah.
just getting
You ain't
busier and
slowing
busier.
down.
You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is
Yeah.
that? And so
It'll put you on a calendar, bro. And, put you on a calendar with times and just, hey, at that time, you just done.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm gonna do.
No, I'm definitely in my checked out era at
Yeah.
work. No, but besides work, just in life in general, it's been a lot of holiday stuff. It's been a lot of like going to the Christmas parade in town, setting up shop, having some hot cocoa. Just watching the parade go by and all the floats and everything. So that was super nice. We were able to do that this week, and then also just go see Christmas lights around the neighborhood. It's just been all family time, man. It's been good. It's been real good.
Nice.
What's
Nice.
been
Yeah,
you?
I traveled a little bit. I was up in San Francisco this week.
Yeah.
Not for the game. 49ers suck, by the way. But I said that earlier this week. Lakers suck too. I just want to point out that while the Lakers were popping and winning games, everybody's like, "Oh, JJ Redick, he might be," and I was like, "We'll see. Give it time." And they fucking suck. LeBron's not with the team right now for personal reasons. Wherever the fuck. So just want to throw it out there.
We went to shamble, bro. It's fucking
Hey,
crazy.
quickly too. It wasn't even like a oh man, we've just been in a slow decline. Like no, they jumped off a cliff and just
Yeah.
won 13 games and then lost 13 games. It's fucking crazy. So Yeah, I was up in San Fran, and then yeah, just me and the wife. We watched the Jamie Foxx special on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really good special. It was funny. It was
Yeah.
emotional. It was soulful because he performed with his
Right.
daughter and stuff like that. It's really good. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, like he tells his story on what happened. Um, and it's really good. It's really good. We really enjoyed that. So and then yeah, it's just been chilling, chilling, killing. You know what I mean? Got a little Call of Duty in last night, and
There you go.
that's it. I'm done. I'm kind of checked out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
I'm checked out.
The rest of the year, it's just like
Yeah,
let's just
Drake
get
don't
into
do
the
nothing
new
else,
year.
man. Don't do nothing
For
else.
real.
We got
Yeah.
to prepare for the new year. We got to get everything ready. I don't need no bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
And Kendrick, don't could you if you could drop it like right after the new year, that'd be fantastic. Don't drop
Yeah.
like the week of Christmas or nothing. Like
He's gonna do
I'm,
like Christmas Day,
I
and
got
then
too
it's
much
gonna be
prep.
like,
You know. I do want to ask you. I got a question for you.
yeah.
So you saw Drake drop. Did you see OVO drop their little NFL um, collab?
I saw that.
Okay. Did you then appreciate Tyler shitting on Drake by dropping his own NFL collab?
Ah, man, we're playing corporate games at this point, man. It's
Oh
fucking
man,
hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
it's so funny.
It's
It's
so
so
fucking
funny
funny.
because I had digested like, oh, okay, cool. So, like OVO's got their little NFL collab. That's cool. Um and then just watching the discourse around it, like, oh, Drake's, this, that, and the other, he's got his corporate ties or whatever. And then to see Tyler come out with his was just hilarious to me because I was like, sounds like NFL is just collabing with everybody they can to get you niggas buying t-shirts and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how special it is anymore, but I definitely, but if I have a choice, being a West Coast podcast, I'm going to go to the Golf Wing store
Yeah.
and check out what they got going on because I don't want to walk around with a big ass owl on my fucking shirt. So
No, I thought that shit was hilarious to me. It was just so funny. And the way I found out too, I thought was funny because it was like the Gulf Wayne collab, and then it was with Schoolboy for the
mm.
49ers, which I thought was it was just funny. It made me laugh, just made me laugh scrolling through Instagram. Just like, what are these games we're playing, man?
It's just like, damn, Drake can't have shit. Everybody's ready to shit on it. He can't have shit.
Why do I keep seeing you guys everywhere I go?
Everywhere
man?
I go, I thought, here I come with my collab with the NFL. I thought I had something, and here you niggas come shitting on my rollout. It's hilarious. It was hilarious.
Oh, that shit was great.
What's the best thing you heard this week? We're gonna move through this because we got a lot to cover.
We got a lot to do.
Yeah.
All right, man. Best thing I heard this week, I actually went back and listened to it because I do think it came out maybe a week ago now. Maybe I think it's been about a week. But Smino, maybe in Nirvana, new project, was a fantastic project to me. Something that I got to live with because I think I caught it late. I caught it the week after it came out. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't even listen to the Smino drop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Smino fan. Been a fan for a long time. Definitely since I first heard the the Black Swan project.
Yeah.
That
Black Swan was a really good album. That was my introduction to Smino, and I was just like, yo, this is fantastic.
that was a lot of people's introduction to Smino.
Yeah.
We were like, damn. Yeah, I might have heard him on like a Monte Booker song or something before that. Like something like that kind of just introduced me to a lot of them. Like all that whole kind of collective. But shout out Smino, man. I've been a big supporter of him. I really like this project. Just coming off of what he had done on his last album, I feel like this was cool for him to be able to put out this project with maybe less expectations. Because I wasn't really expecting it. And it got back to a lot of the things that I think I really like to hear Smino doing on his project, which is just having fun and just being able to say a lot, but also just, what would I say, melodically getting through these songs in a way that only he can. It's just some of the things he thinks of. I mean, I think only he can think of them. But I definitely have some standouts on it. The whole album to me was great. I definitely didn't. It was a no skip album, so I'm still getting no skips even to the end of the year. I'm getting no skips.
All right, no
So
skips for you.
this year has been it's been a
This
good
year's
year.
been pretty incredible for music.
It's been
That's for
yeah.
sure.
It definitely I think on the outlook of 2024, we're like it had potential to be a great year, and I think it's superseded that. I think it's done way better than I could have even imagined.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I haven't listened to this Smino. Or I take it back. I listened to it once, but I haven't gone back to it.
Yeah,
And I don't know that I have a reaction to it because I can't remember that much of the project. But I did listen to it once, so I'll have to go run it back because I do like Smino. I do like what he does. Um, and we're gonna get so we got a lot of Drake hate for you this episode. So if you're in the comments and you're like, you niggas hate Drake, blah blah blah. I don't. I want to just be clear about something. One, I don't hate Drake the person. I don't know Aubrey Graham from a hole in his ass. So like, I don't like it's nothing against Aubrey himself. But Drake be on some sucker shit, and so I think that I don't vibe with what Drake stands for. Is what it is, and I don't think his music is overly good. And why did I bring that out? Bring that up right now? It's because throughout 2024, Drake has dropped some, but he's not sucking all the oxygen out of the room, and so projects like Smino can land projects like some of the stuff we'll probably talk about on our Odyssey Awards best albums. This, you know what I mean? Some of that stuff was able to land because there wasn't a Drake there to suck up all the time and resource. Oddly enough, all the bots and all the things he's claiming have been done to him. He
yeah,
wasn't there to do all that, and so we were able to get the schoolboys, the Vinces, the No Worries, the Sminos, uh, Rome Streets and Derringer, the Griselda peeps rolled out in full force this year a lot.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yes,
Like
sir.
all these projects, Tyler's project, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Kendrick is going to pop regardless. Absol with a second project in 2 years, which is rare for TDE artists. You know what I mean?
hmm
So we were just able to get a lot and the R&B sound that was able to be had this year. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we were able to get a lot of music and a lot of attention was there because there wasn't a lot of attention paid to anything that Drake was doing. So
yeah.
shout out to Smino for his project because I think that it's going to be good. I'm going to try and give it a run so that way I can hear it. And then shout out to all the artists who dropped this year who um, had some space to just create. I think that's another thing that happened this year as I get into the best thing I heard.
Yeah.
Um, People were able to just create and it didn't have to be a specific sound,
Right.
right? They were able to just kind of go make an album they wanted to make and
hmm
it didn't have to have like, oh, this has to have a banger, this kind of banger on it. You know what I mean? The stuff,
Yeah.
the shit music industry does to albums. You know what I mean? It feels like people were able to be their authentic selves,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that authenticity. And I think that's why Drake is on the decline anyway because he doesn't have an authentic sound, and the sound that he's known for is also on the decline. Sorry, Atlanta. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I think that's what's going on. So with that, the best thing I heard this week was Doechii's Tiny Desk. That was incredible. It is one of the best, not one of the, it's probably the best Tiny Desk I've watched.
Yeah.
Right. I love Ty Dolla Sign's Tiny Desk. I love T Pain's Tiny Desk. Bad Bad Not Good did a really good Tiny Desk. Um, there's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of good Tiny Desks.
There's some good ones out there.
Doechii's Tiny Desk. If you haven't had a chance to go see it, I know Billie Eilish just dropped hers. If you haven't had a chance to go watch that, she was phenomenal on the Stephen Colbert show. They had her perform, and she was phenomenal on this Tiny Desk. Just highlighting her talent, but also black women backup singers, black woman band, every instrument, black women. So just
hmm
shining a light to the the beauty and complexity and talent of all black women everywhere. It was one of the most beautiful tiny desks I've ever seen from a music standpoint, and I suggest you all check it out. Like I could watch that thing 50 times.
Nice.
It was really really good, and it just makes that Alligator Bites Never Heal project. Like I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's an album. I'm counting it as her debut album. I don't give a fuck what nobody says because
Yeah.
it's feeling like an album rollout. She's doing performances off of it. Rumor is she's going to be on the GNX tour with Kendrick Lamar. Those are rumors. I have no idea if that's going to be true, but can't wait. And it was incredible. So if you haven't watched, if you haven't had a chance to go see that, Nene, you need to take some time.
No, I
And
mean, with the time we've had for it to be out, I've been able to go watch it, live with it as well, right? Be able to appreciate all the subtleties that are there too, right? The attention to detail, I think, is one of the things that's been highlighted about that performance and what makes it so great, right? Everything. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy just the level of attention and artistry that someone puts to their work and to their presentation in every aspect and every kind of display of their art, right? Is the way I would say it. And Doechii's doing it at the highest level, and she's doing it with purpose, right, and with intention, right, and to showcase, you know, something that needs to be showcased, something very important, so that wasn't lost to me on that performance. I think that's why it's uh, being revered by not just us. A lot of people are saying the same thing as one of the best tiny desks, if not the best, for that
it,
reason.
it was an incredible performance.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. We're going to do an artist spotlight on Doechii, I think, in the new year. Not an LA act. Um, or I should say she's not from LA,
Mm-hmm.
right? But TDE finds them, and what a year for TDE, man! Like it's just
It's crazy.
for a record label to be on this kind of run with these kind of artists and just have what they have. It's special. Shout out to the West Coast for knowing what good music sounds like. So,
There you go.
so, so shall we get into today's festivities?
Festivities.
Festivities, that's what I'm calling it.
All right.
So today, what we wanted to do was take a step back. Now that we're weeks removed from lawsuits and petitions and so on and so forth, allegations and all of the things that we are, weeks removed from, I think it's time to turn down the temperature. And what we wanted to do this episode is just kind of talk about things as we zoom out in a 30,000-foot view, and not whether like, oh, it's right or wrong or what it is. It's just more like, what are we doing here, right?
Right.
And what I mean by all that is, obviously we had the Drake petitions come out, and the Jay-Z allegations come out, right? And uh, if we focus on first, the Jay-Z of it all. So I'm going to be very careful because what are we about 18 minutes in? I don't need the algorithm catching us and banning us from being seen.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, we believe victims on this podcast. We don't victim blame or shame. And so nothing that we're about to say is to say that nothing happened to this young lady who is saying that things happened to her. I also want to say that I don't agree that she needs to show her face.
Yeah.
She does need to. Jay-Z deserves to know who she is because she's gotten a civil suit. But I don't need to know who she is. She deserves whatever privacy she needs to do what she needs to do.
Right.
Okay. So that being said, as I read this, as I heard about it, as we digested it, and we were talking off camera about this a little bit, the story just sounded far-fetched when they announced Jay-Z was a part of the suit.
Right.
And again, I'm not here to say that nothing happened, I'm just here to say, if you want me to believe that it was Jay-Z and Diddy, like I I just wasn't in a space to believe that story,
Right.
right? The idea that a 13-year-old was at Radio Music Hall unsupervised with no one, no friends, no nothing, just by herself, hustling to
Hmm.
get into the VMAs, couldn't do that. The wherewithal to ask limo drivers for help getting in.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I mean? And on all of these things, and then getting caught up in a situation where she says something happened to her. And then was able to get out of that situation in the way that she said. And I'm being very cagey about the details. You can go read them yourself because there's a lot of this stuff that I don't want to say and I cannot say. Um, so then getting out of the situation in the way that she did, or at least allegedly did, and then having her father come and pick her up and sit on this for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And not that victims need to tell their story in our time; they need to tell it in their time. Um, it's completely fine. It's just that particular story was so far fetched that I was like, I don't know that Jay Z did this.
Right.
Right? Something might have happened, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it was Jay Z that did this. And by extension, I felt like bad because I was like, am I about to defend Diddy? Like this man's a monster, but you know what I mean? Like, he didn't do it all. Like he didn't essay everybody. Like, I mean, come on now.
Oh God. Which is just
So
crazy to say,
it
right? But
is, right? Like I'm like, geez,
yeah.
ugh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
You making me defend Diddy right now. So I'll stop there and get your reaction to just that.
Just the overall
Just the overall
where we got caught up
initial,
to. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. No. Yeah. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. The story in itself, I think, warranted kind of a little bit of, what would I say, having to just be okay assuming certain things to get to the end of the story, pretty much, right? Which is like, okay, I think we had in a previously discussed, maybe in a discussion off camera, about how I think part of uh, the attachment to Diddy in this story allowed for people to um, suspend reality a little bit, because any story including Diddy nowadays is like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure that happened, right? It just all kind of gets bundled up into this idea of who Diddy is, and this kind of this lore of Diddy now, right? Not, again, not to say that this didn't happen or that it didn't occur, but that it um, the people that were involved, it could have been um, misidentified or somehow just misrepresented. So I definitely, the way you said it was great. I think that's definitely where we're at, and I think that's why you saw the discourse that you saw initially. I think was because people, once they were able to latch on to this thing that's attached to Diddy, it's like, well, I can make any of that shit, seem true in my mind, because I mean, look at all this other stuff that we've that people feel like, oh, we've confirmed is true about Diddy, right? And again, it starts to sound like you're caping for Diddy or something, right? You're like, I don't really like, I don't really like where
I
we're
don't like
going here,
this. I don't like this.
But I think it's good to also clarify that we're not doing that either. It's just a matter of, I think, taking the specific circumstance and the specific situation and story into account. So
Yeah. And since everything has been filed, we saw Jay Z statement, which a lot of people were bashing Jay Z statement. And again, now that I've had a chance to just take a step back and sit and look at what he was trying to do and trying to say, definitely some grammatical errors there, some typos. So you definitely want to go ahead and run that through GPT or insert your AI assistant here, just to make sure you get your point across.
yeah,
But I did see some discourse around him not mentioning the victim in his statement,
hmm,
and being very defiant,
yeah,
and the Jaguar rights of this world. feeling vindicated
Yeah.
for the clout chasing that they do. Um, and I actually didn't care about the statement all too much. You know, the fact that he came out with it like right away, and it wasn't this buttoned up like we will play this out in court, and the legal process will show that we are vindicated in our like that. I just would have been like, I definitely don't give a shit about this. Like, I don't give a fuck about the lawyer writing
Yeah.
statement. I think we cared because it looked like Jay-Z wrote it on his notes on his iPhone and then just fucking sent that shit out.
Right, like, we're kind of like, okay,
right, and it was just like, oh, okay, this is how Jay feels.
Yeah.
But if Jay's position is I didn't do this, to acknowledge the victim, it to me is actually like inappropriate. He's like, I'm not saying nothing did or didn't happen to this person. I'm saying I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And this lawyer is just leveraging my name because he's chasing a payday. Right. So I'm not here to denounce the victim and say she's a liar or anything like that. I'm here to say that this lawyer chose me as his mark because of who I am. And his tactic is to go after celebrities or entities that he knows and cases that he knows will probably settle at some point. And then, you know, he doesn't actually ever have to really prove anything. Right. So in the Deshaun Watson case, that ended up settling. And I think Deshaun Watson is nasty as hell. And he probably did some of that shit. But it definitely, you know, it was definitely an interesting case that is being brought back up now, even though it's kind of a false equivalency. But it's being brought back up because the same tactic that was used against Deshaun Watson is being used against Diddy and now tangentially Jay-Z, where you know, hey, the hotline set up. If anything happened, you call it, and we'll litigate it. Right. So the Jay-Z comments that came out right after, like, I know people were flaming him up, and I know we were all ready to be like, see, I told you, Jay-Z's part of the Illuminati, and he's been doing like, you know what I mean? Like,
Which was
I know
the narrative. That was the
everybody
narrative.
was ready for that.
Yeah.
They came with pitchforks and torch out. Like, I'm just like, look, those were his comments. And I'm okay with him saying, I'm not mentioning her because I didn't do this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, so I'm okay with that. So thoughts on Jay-Z's commentary before we get into the NBC story?
I will say just, on initial like reviewing of the post, like when I saw the post, I think I laughed. I laughed because of the way that he was using these words and just the way it was presented, where it was like halfway like, did you go through your lawyer to do this first? But then it's coming from your point of view, so it sounds very like, "Aye, sir. Good day to you, sir." And it's like, what? Like, what are we talking about right now?
Mr. Busby. And another thing, sir. The moving finger rights and having writ. Yeah, it did feel like
my pen is thy sword. And it was like, okay, great. I don't know what to do with that. Okay.
It did have a lot of that energy. That's true.
It did have a lot of that energy to where I think I was like, all right, we're on our Shakespeare tip right now. So after I got past that, yes, I think there was the case of him putting out the initial statement and then revising it, and then putting, I think, at the bottom also that you know, he's gonna learn who he is soon or something like that, something of that nature. So he put a little bit more gravitas, if you will, at the end, right?
You'll learn today.
Yeah, he gonna learn today. Which I thought was just special.
Yeah.
So
it's a special guy. Sean
yeah,
Carter.
yeah. All that to say, yes, and then I think he included more, I think, accommodation to not wanting to sound like he was also not being privy to whatever experiences the victim might have gone through, but then just obviously distancing himself from any involvement and just saying, it's not me, it wasn't me, kind of thing. So I think it was I think as good as you could do to respond to something like that, I think, in the moment, you know, and at the end of the day, and ended up seeming very Jay-Z esque, but it did also seem to come through like very odd. It was just very odd to me. It was both like, again, I had that funny reaction and then a just bit odd reaction, but I understood once we had more context to the situation.
Yeah.
Once I looked into it more, understood who is this Mr. Busby, what is going on, right? Like you said, to a lot of his previous cases, like the Deshaun Watson case and stuff like that, like um, just understanding where he comes from, what he specializes in. Who do you call? I think you made a remark to me before about like who are the lawyers that you call for certain cases, right? Certain kinds of cases, right? And like, okay, wherever this kind of thing happens, you're gonna see this lawyer pop up.
Yeah.
And he's one of those lawyers, right? So I think given the full context, I understood a lot more of where this energy was coming from.
Yeah, he's one of the lawyers that is called when, and I don't even think he's called, right? I think he just shows up.
Right.
Like Ben Crump, some civil rights shit happened. That motherfucker's on the first thing smoking.
Yeah.
He don't get no other lawyer, no fucking chance. You know, Gloria Allred, she's like, you know, something happened to some DV or SA issue happened. Gloria Allred is like, I'm there, right? And Tony Busby seems to be trying to find victims who are assaulted and then attach it to, but it's only victims who were allegedly assaulted by big name celebrities who he knows he can extract a lot of money out of.
Right.
And I don't know his court history. I don't know his case history, so I can't say like he doesn't help the little guy. But it does seem, at least recently, that he only attaches his name to very, very, very large cases.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And as all the discourse was going around and all the either protect Jay-Z's or, you know, kill Jay-Z, as all of that was going on this week, NBC, shout out to actual journalists, academics, who don't put themselves in the story and are there just to tell the story.
Yeah.
Right. And get the facts and do investigative journalism and not be on one side or the other side. Right. Yeah. Shout out to the true journalists. We really need you guys. I know there's been a war on the truth.
Yeah.
Because everybody has to tell their truth. So there's a war on the truth. But shout out to actual journalists that are trying to get to the bottom of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Megan, the court reporter, chick, and other journalists who are out here like actually doing the Lord's work.
Right.
So the NBC comes out, the NBC article interview comes out, and then there's inconsistencies in the story that at least is laid out in the lawsuit versus what's happened in this interview. And I think even Mr. Busby, sir, I think even he is coming like, hey, you know, these come to us sometimes vetted by teams we trust. But, you know, we try and do a thorough job vetting. We just need to vet this story out a little bit more. And it's like, well, don't you think you should have done that before you, you know what I mean? Like, does it feel like you skipped a step if that's the case?
You kind of jumped the gun a little bit, or
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, shot his wad a little too soon. That's one of those, like, you're just primed to go. You're ready to go. And you're like, all right, and get in there. And you're like, oh, no.
Like, I've been waiting on this one. Bro.
I got 6 pumps left.
Yeah.
But we just got started. Tony Busby. 6 pump Tony Busby. That's what I'm calling him from now.
6 pump. There yo. Whoa, man. That's crazy.
Hey, that's what he did because in my opinion, it was just too soon. Like, you know, and there are inconsistencies. And again, we're not here to shame her. Something happened, especially we know that victims that were drugged have a hard time recalling specific details. So we want to give her space to misremember and all of the things. But when you go to accuse somebody of something this heinous, because the details of it are disgusting, right? And so when you go to like do something or tell a story about somebody that's this heinous and allege something that happened to you, some of the stories have to some of the details have to line up. It's okay for you not to remember everything, but like stuff like your dad, somebody asked your dad and he's just like, I didn't ever pick her up from no, I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about. You know what I mean? Like that's
I
a
guess.
huge like part of your story, and for your dad not to corroborate that like live on, or at least publicly, I should say,
Right.
it's bad, right? Stuff started dropping like earlier in the week. Diddy and Jay Z at clubs, Diddy arguing with J Lo, Jay Z doing his thing. And that's not to say they didn't leave and go somewhere else and do anything else. That's just to say that around the time that this alleged incident occurred,
Right.
these guys look like they were photographed not at a mansion party,
Right.
right? And so it, it's validating the feeling I had at first, where I was like, this story seems too fantastic.
Right.
And it's not that I don't believe that something happened to this girl. It's that I'm starting to believe that Tony Busby is like, this is what happened to you.
I see.
You see what I'm
Kind
saying?
of.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
something happened to you, but this is what happened to you, right? Like, so, oh, okay. So as we're hearing, you were, you know what I mean? And so you start to put together because, Diddy had the freak offs, right? Oh, was it a mansion, maybe a U-shaped driveway type situation, and everything is being suggested,
Right.
to you, and so then you filed a lawsuit, and now Jay-Z is feeling closer to vindication
Right.
than he was
Right.
before. So it was just interesting digesting all of this from a 30,000 foot to say, maybe as a public we need to just take a step back and stop being so visceral in our reactions initially.
Definitely. I think, running with the headline and thinking that, we could just go off of that and then take it to the deep end, just
Yeah.
fucking go and say, okay, this is true. So what are we doing now? Kind of thing, as to saying, okay, like let's gather up all the facts. Let's let the investigative reporters again do their job and kind of get us to the point where we can have some semblance of truth or some semblance of facts to then go off of and then make our opinions based off of that. So again, that's kind of played out all in the public space, and like you said, it's kind of funny for it to all come up after the fact, as this is coming out, all these inconsistencies are coming out that uh, the Busbys of the world are saying, okay, we're still gathering all the facts.
Yeah, you gotta step back a little bit. I'm gonna have to walk this back a little bit.
And we're still, gathering all.
Well, I mean, and the fact that Celebrity B was never identified, right?
Right.
That was always interesting to me. Like, okay, so you refiled and then named Sean Jay-Z Carter, and then you were like, and Celebrity B.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, well name the other. Like, who's the other person? Why did you? So we know Diddy and Jay-Z. So who's the third person? Or did they settle already? Or are they mediating with you already? So it was just an interesting thing. And I wanted to chat about that because I wanted to have a larger conversation just about reactions. Because as you're aware, everyone reacted real hard to those petitions rolling out.
Yeah.
From white boy. From Drake. Graham is what I'm Aubrey Drake Graham.
Top of the white rappers list.
Oh man, number four pop star in all of history. You know what I mean? Like all of the things. Look, before we get into this Drake part, I'm gonna leave that Jay-Z alone because that looks like it's getting serious. Looks like there's gonna be some serious fallout for some serious.
Right.
So before we get into this is a West Coast podcast. We're very Kendrick forward. We do not enjoy Drake's music all that much. He might have a slap here or there. Early Drake was just fine. We like Drake with the melodies. We don't like Drake when he act tough. Okay. So we're obviously going to scrutinize what Drake does because he's been fucking lame to us for years. Glad the world has finally caught on.
There you go.
So the petitions heard around the world.
Right.
what was your initial reaction, and then I'll get into the 30,000 foot view that I've taken on this thing.
So yeah, I mean, I think our initial reaction, which I think we touched on before, but just kind of reviewing all that. Yeah, I mean, I think Wiz came out and said that sounds like a Drake move,
That is what
and I
Wiz
think he
said.
said it perfectly to how I reacted when I first heard it. Sounds like a Drake move, and it sounds like Drake is showing us who he really is. Ironically, as he's spiraling to really figure out who am I really. Right.
Turns out
And
I'm a Jewish black man, and I'm gonna sue.
there you go. Right. So, um, yeah, no. So it's not surprising, and it's very. You had mentioned in the beginning of the beef that hey, at a certain point, I might just take this to litigation. We might just have to.
Not like us drops. I'm fighting and I'm suing. Like that's just it. Fuck all the street shit.
Yeah.
Fuck all that. Fuck
I'm gonna
mafia
find
ties.
you. We gonna fight, and then also, I'm suing your ass.
Meet the Grams was an instant fight. Like fuck the music. Like I ain't dropping shit. And I would have came out with a fucking Instagram post like I ain't dropping shit else. Kendrick, where you at, nigga? You ain't gonna be talking to my son like this. What the fuck's wrong with you, right? Like that's what that would have been.
Right.
And then hey, we'd had to squabble up after that. You ain't gonna be talking about my fucking mom and kids and shit like that in some rap beef.
There you go.
But that's not who Drake is, obviously. And so yeah, he should have litigated earlier, in my opinion.
So yes, so I think that's been looming. We could have imagined that it would have come here. I think it still took some people by surprise, but to say that I was surprised, I wasn't really surprised. Right? Again, this sounded like a Drake move, and it revealed a lot of what we already knew Drake to be. But I think it took that time of, okay, well, show us who you are, and you're showing us who you are, and you're showing us just how much you don't know about this space that you claim to take up in this community that you claim to take it up in, right? And I think all the choices you've made in navigating this issue have been the wrong ones.
They've been the wrong ones, brother.
Yeah,
been the wrong ones.
Tough.
I listened to Euphoria last night because I spend GNX once a week just to make sure Kendrick gets the streams. Since this is what we're talking about, so now I just out of spite, I spend some Kendrick song,
right?
Or album,
yeah.
And I listened to Euphoria, and so for me, like that, I was like, that was Kendrick's like hardest verse in the whole beef, like that was to me. But Euphoria was the best song because it was like a prophecy, right?
Down to the T, honestly. It's kind of crazy. Like, the more you go back and listen to that as time goes on, the more everything he's saying is just true, Yeah.
It was insane. Like, I listened to it last night. I was like, damn, he told this nigga straight up and down. This is crazy. He told you what he was going to do. He told you not to. He said, don't do these things, and I won't do these things. But if you do this, I'm crashing out.
Right.
All that said, when I zoom out and we just take the corporate view of it, and again, if you don't know, I work in corporate America, so I understand how corporations work, okay, and subsidiaries and all of these things. But I don't know anything about like the music industry like that. This is all just me doing. I'm not gonna say research. I'm gonna say book reports and stuff like that.
There you go. Yeah, lighter.
So, obviously Drake is signed to OVO, and OVO has a contract with Republic, which is a division of UMG Recordings. Okay, so we know UMG is behind this globally, but that's the thing, right? OVO, Drake under OVO, not OVO Sound, by the way, under OVO licenses are contracts with Republic to get his music out.
Right.
Kendrick now under PG Lang, so he's not with TDE anymore, and he has a distribution agreement with Interscope, which is UMG. Okay, so Interscope and PG Lang don't have to tell Republic shit about what they're doing with their artists and
Yeah.
distribution licenses and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
UMG might know that as the parent and the conglomerate, but Republic don't necessarily have to know what Interscope is doing, and Interscope don't have to necessarily know what Republic is doing, because these are
Right.
two competing labels at the end of the day, because they're competing for artists, they're competing for our time, our minds, so on and so forth, right?
Right.
And so this idea that UMG, the mom, the parent, right, is the one pushing Drake, suppressing Drake, is it's just been hilariously laughable to me. Um, I've been digesting like people who are um, like entertainment lawyers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some sound a little Drake slanted, quite honestly. Like they're just like taking it as fact, like Kendrick, Not Like Us was botted, and Drake has never been botted. You know what I mean? And they're taking it as fact, like the industry, Drake is fighting for the industry. So when your legal expertise is coming like that, I think the public is just looking at you sideways, like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but if we just take our hearts out of it and who we root for,
Right.
which is what I'm trying to do here, and just say, hey, look, um, Interscope had a better strategy for how they were pushing their music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Kendrick was just a better artist as it relates to this beef. And UMG caught something, and they said, "Oh shit, this is ringing off. We're
Right.
going to put the machine behind this so that it gets in front of the most people it can."
Right.
That is the same thing it has been doing for Drake for years,
Yeah.
right? Even when it's not good, we've been told it's good, right? Like
Yeah. And there's
it's
been
been
some
a thing.
recent ones where it's been very not good. You know, we can
Tell me
clearly
about it,
see.
right? And then the rumors are he's like releasing mid because he's trying to get out of the contract, but he's got bangers down. He's got slaps back in the tuck, and I'm like, okay,
Because that
whatever.
makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
You know, okay.
sure you do. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
No, great.
question that I've always been asking is, um, if Drake is that nigga, why is he at the negotiating table in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the question I've always been asking. I don't see that your Axe and Malls and whoever the fuck's on Drake's side. I don't see them asking that question. Why is he
Right.
at the negotiating table at all? I recall a few weeks ago when Joe Budden crashed out, and he was like, go in that corner. And blah, 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 blah. Like the thing I was thinking, not that this is a shot at Joe, love JBP,
Yeah.
right? Don't hate me. The thing I was thinking was, how did that work out for you at Spotify?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you
Right.
were that nigga at Spotify, right? And they were just like, and then you left and you built your own thing. So that actually the equivalency that I'm making is, Joe, you didn't get what you want from the corporation, so then you went and did your own thing, and now you got your own thing.
Yeah.
So why doesn't Drake just go do that, right? And release all those fire slaps? There might be some, contract stuff that I'm not privy to that doesn't allow for him to do that. But it would make more sense to fulfill the contract situation than to litigate against uh, an entity where it's their thing. This is how they've been playing the game for years, and you're trying to litigate against the game. It'd be like LeBron litigating against the NBA because basketball was unfair to him in his Lakers stint.
Sure. Whereas
Like
he benefited from what basketball was doing for him for the rest of his career.
exactly, but now he's
Yeah.
getting old. He ain't knocking down as many shots. He ain't as fast. He's not quick
Mhm.
defensively, and all this other kind of stuff. And now he's like, the NBA has conspired against me to change the game so that it was less advantageous to me and advantageous to everyone else.
Right.
Because if I am not shooting the ball, I mean, this is a zero-sum game. If I can't make the shot, somebody else is making the shot, and I need to be the one making all the shots.
Right.
That's what this litigation sounds like to me. And I'm just like, if we just, outside of the sucker shit, so if we just remove it from hip hop, outside of the sucker shit, right? Because Drake is a fucking sucker for this shit, right? Outside of that, they can't pay. I never got a check to spend any Drake or Kendrick music. So this pay for play thing in a streaming era makes no sense to me because I'm like, I'm not getting paid to spend this shit. But
Yeah.
that's how we're measuring success.
Yeah.
Is streams,
Yeah.
right? So if Drake does 1 billion streams, I didn't get a single dollar, right? And are we saying, oh, only certain entities like radios? Who the fuck is listening to the radio anymore? Like I don't
No,
know who the
I
fuck
mean
that is.
that's
But
not what it is. It's streaming farms. It's
okay, so
places
if we
that are
keep it,
able to farm streams in a way, whatever
okay.
way that is. But yeah, it's just that's what it is.
So if that's what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Because payola comes from the old like, hey, I'm gonna go to the old fuck flex shit, right? Like,
Right.
hey, I'm gonna go to the DJ or I'm gonna go to the radio station and I'm gonna pay them to play this music,
Yeah.
right? Streaming platforms have done that for Drake. And I'm sure this, and I know this has been said like over and over and over and over again,
Right.
right? Like streaming platforms have done this for Drake. And I'm just thinking about it as a corporate thing, right? I think I said this a few weeks ago. Drake sounds like a CEO who's looking at his bottom line, recognizing a decrease in revenue, and is saying, "How do I litigate my way out of this particular agreement because it is no longer advantageous to me?"
Yeah.
Some sucker shit, some hoe shit.
Yeah. That's
After
exactly
you
what it is.
called this nigga outside, no, you following through.
Which is it's the line that's aged amazingly in the worst ways.
Oh
Worst ways,
man.
right? Aged like milk, right? Just the
Oh,
way
dude.
he
Like bananas, like avocados,
like fucking
like white people.
Yeah.
So, I just find it fascinating. It's just interesting to me, this
Right.
whole thing. And as we take a step back, and now the temperature's turning down on it.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't think Drake's petitions are going anywhere.
Yeah.
I've also heard that this happens to UMG a lot, and they normally just ignore the shit. And if there's a fine that comes with it, they just pay the fine, and then nobody gets anything on these petitions. That's what I've heard that too. Like UMG gets these shits all the time from independent artists that aren't as big as Drake,
Yeah.
and they're just like, eh, and they don't even fucking respond to it.
Well, and I think that it's also because Drake, I think, is well, I don't know. Two things I think about when you say that is that one, that they're in some ways trying to make an example out of Drake, is something I have thought of. And two, that he's asking for things that they're not able to just pay off, right? He's asking for some kind of stake, and they're like, okay, go fuck yourself kind of thing, So does that warrant having to have these kind of responses?
Make an example out of them in what way?
I just think because they're like, we built you, we can destroy you kind of thing.
Why would they want to destroy the boy?
Because they're like, look, it's on us. It's not on you. You're not the one that has the leverage here. You're not the one that has the control. And make an example out of them, right? It's like it's their biggest creation, but it's like not like we can't make you again, kind of thing. And we already own all of the stuff that makes you profitable. So
hey, I heard motherfuckers saying they made Hove. Made Hove say, okay, so make another Hove. Right? Look, whatever Drake is asking for, according to everyone, he deserves it. Drake is my age.
don't forget it.
At what point do you want to just stop being out here like this and move into the Jay-Z, like 50 Cent, for all as successful as he is? Let's not forget that we stopped hearing 50 Cent's music after he said, Jimmy Iovine needs me, I don't need Jimmy Iovine.
It's true.
Right. And I just say that to say, right, the game is the game. Now I'm black. America is the white man's game. I'm just figuring out how to get my money and get my shit and stay over here to myself, right?
Hey,
and so
that's all you can do.
But I'm not trying to take down the system because
Right.
that's beyond me.
Right.
The system cannot be changed, right? Like, we got Obama, then we got Trump, then we got Biden, then we got Trump. All right, the system at work.
Yeah, there you go.
Ensuring that we never got another nigga up in here again, right? So
you got one.
you got your one. Now
one.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
We
get
gave you
the fuck out of
February.
here.
What more do you want? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So
We
that's
gave you
where
two
this is at.
terms back to back,
Okay.
and it's like, all right, Jesus. All
We
right.
gave you the 400, and I think the problem stems from he got the 400, right? And then he made it back. It sounds like,
Hmm.
again, do your own research. I have no idea about this. Sounds like he might have made the 400 back. He
Right.
feels like, okay, I made the 400 back, but there's still some like obligations, touring and album kind of
Yeah.
obligations that are tying him to the contract, and that might be why he's litigating. He might be trying to, but he has no leverage. To the point
Yeah.
I was making about JBP earlier, he has no leverage. That's the thing. There's no like, oh, okay, I've made you billions of dollars. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That don't got shit to do with what you not gonna do for us in the future, and
Right.
how we're valuing you now.
Right.
Appreciate those billions.
Yeah.
But nigga Kendrick's over here signed. This nigga just got the Super Bowl and he's doing a stadium tour. Neither of which you're doing. So I can get that nigga your 600.
Yeah.
Because he's worth actually more than 600 to us right now.
Yeah.
We fucking banishing to Australia right now. So like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like what are we talking about?
Oh
So,
my god.
you know, so like he doesn't have leverage. That's why
Yeah.
he's at the table, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have leverage, then you go execute the leverage when you don't get what you want. You say, I want this. They go, no. You go, okay, here's my line in the sand. This is it. Final last. Are y'all doing this? They say no. You go do the thing and you walk the fuck away. But if you're still at the table, then they know they got you.
Right.
So they know you can come down.
Yeah, that's the game of negotiation, man.
Amen. So shout out to Drake on his sucker shit. You know what I mean? Petitions all around. You get a petition. Everybody gets a petition.
Everybody.
So shout out to
Holy
Drake.
shit.
All right. Look, Odyssey Pod. We got a few minutes.
Hey.
Let's run through some of these award nominees, and then we can announce awards on our next go.
Hey, let's go.
Nominees. Let's go. R&B album. Let's start at R&B. Hip hop's gonna probably be. So we're only doing 2 categories. Next year we'll get it together and have more categories. But we're doing R&B. We're doing hip hop. You know what I mean. And then I might just throw album of the year out there, and we'll put these on the channel for you guys to consume as well.
All right.
R&B nominees. Let's go. R&B. What you got? Oh, before we get started, I'm just gonna do this for the homie Q. Quartermaster, this is for you. We're gonna nominate Tyrese's Beautiful Pain for the musicality. If you are getting divorced, please stay away from this album. You do not need to be in this space. If you are moving past your divorce, please stay away from this album. You do not need to be in this space. But if you are healthy enough and in a healthy enough relationship where you want to appreciate some fantastic singing and fantastic music, this album is it. But if you in a bad way with your partner, stay all the way the fuck away from this album.
You know, debating, you know, like you on the fence about it, like don't touch this.
This album's having you spiral all the way the fuck down. So
it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
But it is musically one of the most beautiful R&B albums that was made, very Marvin Gaye inspired. That's when this nigga was dressing up like Marvin Gaye to do the fucking
was crazy.
Do the fucking
that was crazy.
National anthem.
That was crazy.
Weird. Tyrese is weird ass nigga.
Got the whole beard, red beanie set up. I was like, yo, man, what we doing?
This nigga's weird. Man,
that was weird. That was
and so so shout out Tyrese. That's one of the nominees. So Q, that's for you. We don't want to hear shit about it. Okay. So we'll give it an honest listen again and then decide if it wins. Probably not going to win. All right. R&B albums of the year.
What we doing? You got your 2, I got my 2. We making up 5?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Right. So I'm going to throw Party Next Door. You know, that's been one of my favorites all year.
PND, baby.
I'm going to throw that nomination out there.
Okay.
Shout out to OVO Sound.
Hey, look at that. Hey, after all that talk. Shout out
I've
OVO
always said, it's not that I have a problem with the artist on OVO. I really enjoy 40's production.
It's just who are they? Yeah,
Drake
no, I
is
get what you're saying.
just saying. I don't know any Toronto rapper Drake has put on. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that one. So Party Next Door, PD4 or P4, whatever it is.
What did you say? Pedo 4? That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
PDF4. P4 is what it is. My bad.
Hey,
and then I'm gonna go Casablanco, Marsha Ambrosius. Super slept on. Really, really, really good album.
Nice.
Really, really good. Like
nice.
So slept on that I'm mad.
Beautiful.
Wake up, niggas.
Beautiful.
And then I'm gonna let you go year 2, but I got one over here that I think I might have to replace.
You got a pending one?
Yeah. Go year 2, and then I think I got something I'm gonna have to. Yeah.
All right. So my 2, what they don't know is we've had a lot of discussions about this behind the scenes, and a lot of arguments.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So on my side, just because I know we're gonna agree on this one, Mutt by Leon Thomas got to be on there.
That's a good.
All right,
so
now I feel like we're really making this list. Like, all right, okay, this is a good nominee list, right?
All right.
And then me, I got to throw a wrench into everything.
Of course you do.
So Lucky Day Algorithm is what we talking about. That's what we're talking about. Yep. Go back and listen to our review too. I think like we were both kind of shitting on it.
I'm still kind of shitting on it, to be honest. I don't. It did not.
Did it age well for you?
It didn't. I don't like that album. I don't think. Or I don't want to say I don't like it. It was very mid for me.
It was mid.
Very mid.
Middery.
It's got a lot of middery. I raised your Lucky Day.
Okay.
I'm coming back with Sir.
Heavy. How could we forget Sir? And all the TDE-ness.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm coming back with Sir Heavy. There's an argument to make for Blast. I don't know where to put him specifically.
Yeah.
Him and No Worries kind of fall in that same spot.
Where I'm like, trouble.
Is this a rap album? Is this an R&B album?
What do I do with this?
What do I do with it? So, but we got to remove one and put Sir. We can, if you want to make a case to remove P4, I'll hear it. But I'm not a fan of Algorithm. So if that's what you want to nominate, then more power to you. I'm okay with removing P4 and putting Sir.
How about, since we're talking about nominees, right? If you're willing to, we're negotiating a trade right now, okay? Let's do this, okay? So if you're willing to swap out your P4 for Sir, I'm willing to put at least a little bit of woman representation onto this list and put Money Long's Revenge instead of Lucky Day, which I think fits the category of R&B a lot more than Lucky Day, because that was a big thing that we said when we initially reviewed it, was that where are we at on this whole Lenny Kravitz vibe, Prince vibe you got going on? Yeah, where are you really sitting? So
it's definitely no Candy Drip, that's for sure.
Candy Drip, but that's a go-to album by now.
Yeah. So we're taking off. Okay, so we're taking off P4. We're putting in Sir. We're taking off Algorithm. We're putting Money Long.
Okay, so what's that final list?
All right, so in no particular order: Tyrese, Marsha Ambrosius, Sir, Money Long, Leon Thomas. That's a strong ass list. 5 right there.
That's a fire ass list.
That's a fire ass nominee list right there for R&B album of the year, man. I don't know how we're gonna come up with the actual album of the year, but that's
incredible.
Woo, that's fucking heat right there.
So that's our homework. That's our homework too. Go listen to all these albums again, and hey, man, we're gonna decide on one somehow. I don't know how, but we're gonna figure it out.
So we're gonna let Q vote, but he can't vote for Tyrese. So we're gonna decide where Tyrese goes, and then he can vote on the other 4. Like that's how that's gonna go.
Okay.
Because if you leave it to him, he's either going Leon Thomas or Tyrese. So
there you go. Okay.
All right, real quick. Rap albums.
Rap,
Hip hop. Hip
hip
hop
hop.
anonymous.
Which give it a little bit of a explanation. So if we're considering these albums, that means they fit into what the genre that is hip hop,
They
right?
fit into the genre that is hip hop. So that's what No Worries and Blast. That's why they kind of can't make it
Yeah,
because they're not rap albums. They're not R&B albums. They're kind of
right.
this alternative R&B, or melodic rap, whatever we're gonna call it. So
Mm-hmm.
your Cash Cobains are out. Um, Don Tolliver is out. Like these albums don't make a chance because
Future's out.
Future was never in, as far as I'm concerned. Although
Yeah.
I have to give credit where credit is due, and We Don't Trust You is a very well received album
It's
this
well
year.
received, and when I went back, I did. I was able to listen to most of that album. Um, and I had some standouts on that album. I mean, it wasn't like in terms of how Future albums go for me. It wasn't a bad Future album, but
I
to
think
say
that's
it was
why
like one of the
everybody
best
loved it because
albums.
they're like, man, Future is so trash. He actually did a good album like that. I think that's where that ended up. So,
Come on, man. We not a Future hating podcast. Not that much.
I
Not that much.
but I don't, again, let me be clear. I don't know Future personally.
Yeah.
I despise all of Future's music. There is not a Future album where I'm like, I have Future songs that I could like pick out and be like, oh, okay, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But to sit down and listen to a Future album, not me. Nope, never.
Never.
So, but We Don't Trust You has been like his shining star. So
Yeah.
we'll honorable mention that.
Okay.
But okay, hip hop albums. You go first on this one.
All right, I'll go first. All right, so my two that I'm throwing in there, right?
Okay.
Are we saying two? Are we doing
Let's do three apiece.
Let's do three apiece and then
Yes.
meet somewhere in the middle?
Yes.
Good, because I don't know how else I would do this list without it. Okay. Oh man. I had an epiphany this week too.
All right.
Not an epiphany. I think I just had you re-listen. I've been re-listening to all these albums, and man, Chromacopia is good. It's not on this list. It's not on this list. It's still not on this list.
It's excellent.
Only because it borders the line a little bit, and because it also bordered the line of when it came out for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I definitely put. I wanted to give shine to these albums that came out earlier this year that really stuck with me throughout the whole year. So that means that Vince Staples' "Dark Times," baby, got to be on this list.
It's a good album.
That's a non-negotiable for me.
Very slept on album. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That was an incredible album to me. I love that album. Schoolboy Q, Blue Lips. I think that's one that we agree on. I think
absolutely.
How can you not? That was a Grammy snub.
Grammy snub.
Yeah.
All day.
That's real talk. That's real talk.
All day.
And because I think you're gonna put one of them on your list, I'm not gonna say them. I'm gonna say the other one that I don't think you have on there, which is Rhapsody. Please Don't Cry. I put that on my list. I put that on my nominees.
Very
again, revisiting album. That album. Yeah, it's a very vulnerable, emotional album, very personal to her. Incredible album to receive as a fan of Rhapsody. So important for her. Right. So as a supporter and a fan, just an amazing album to receive this year, and just to see her own personal growth and her own personal growth as an artist and as a person. It's amazing. So amazing album. I definitely wanted to give it the credit that it deserves, both as an album, a piece of art, piece of this thing that you make. Again, we always talk about albums being able to be these pieces of art and this culmination of all these emotions you might be feeling this time in your life, and that's exactly what this is. So it epitomizes that to me. So it had to be on this list for me.
Okay. Yeah. So your three were Blue Lips.
Yes. Dark Times,
Vince Staples,
and Please Don't Cry.
And Please Don't Cry, Rhapsody. All right. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Elephant in the room. On this list already. Doechii, Alligator Bites Never Heal.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. So I've waxed poetic about that enough. So I can't just say enough. I'm gonna include this one's more of an honorable mention. I don't think I'm actually nominated it. And I'm only mentioning it because I love the music. The sucker shit, I don't fuck with. Lupe Fiasco Samurai. I'm not co-signing the bullshit he was on, but that album was actually really good, and it was overshadowed by his bullshit. Um, so it's
Damn
a
it,
shame.
Lupe.
Shame, Lupe. Shame, Lupe. So Doechii is one. There's another honorable mention that came out later this year. Chez Noir, really, really, really good project. It was one of my the best thing I heard the week it came out, and I really, really loved it. But I'm not going to nominate it. Instead, I'm going to go with another New York artist, David James and Passport Rap Nonfiction.
Let's
I
go.
love this project. I really love it. It was excellent. It had no skips. The songs are good. Lyrically, I love it. And just want to give some love to the East Coast, even though we're a West Coast podcast. I know a lot of you East Coast niggas are hating on GNX right now. Uh, I'm gonna hold that against you in the future, but not right now. So my other nominee is going to be, or my third nominee is going to be Soul Burger. Absol. I didn't appreciate that album when it came out because I was just being an emotional petty bitch because of the election. Um, the sales on it, so we hear, weren't that great. Again, I think
Mhm.
it's just the time. I think if Kamala wins the election, fucking Soul Burger shoots through the roof. But niggas was just, we were out of it on the Burger project. But that album is incredible.
Yeah.
Like the singles he released are amazing. He's been
Yeah.
releasing videos. And when I went back to go, I like GNX. I spend that album once a week. Like, and I'm just like, this is just a good album. It's
Yeah.
good. Like, I'm so sad it was slept on. Super
Yeah.
personal project from Absol, and I think that we need to be better West Coast. Like, let's spin Absol's album and get that
Yeah.
into the ether and music industry. Let's find a better metric because streams is dumb. So let's go back to when you had to buy something. Like, let's do that.
There you go. Look at that.
Like, I'll buy. His album was sold out, so I couldn't buy the vinyl, but I definitely bought it on Apple or on iTunes.
Right. Full support.
Full support these artists. So yeah, those are going to be my three: David James, Passport Rap, Nonfiction,
All
uh, Doechii, Alligator Bites Never Heal, Absol, Soul Burger.
right.
I think those three are my three. So if we combine your
Solid
three
three, man.
with my three,
Yeah.
that's six. So Blue Lips is obviously on there.
That's a guarantee.
Doechii is obviously on there.
Yeah, that's a guarantee.
That's a guaranteed nominee.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with your third one was who was your third one?
My third one was Rhapsody.
Rhapsody.
And Rhapsody and
That's
Vince Staples.
Rhapsody,
was
Vince
my first one,
Staples. That Vince Staples album was really good.
yeah.
Okay. As much as I don't want to, I will sacrifice David James and Passport Rav.
Oh
I,
man,
I love that project, and
I know how much you love it too.
I love it
really
a
do.
lot. So I'm gonna sacrifice it because we need space, not because it doesn't deserve to be there. This is definitely a snub, in my opinion. Because Rhapsody came out with a really beautiful project, and I think it needs to. I think it needs some.
And I think it's good. I think it also encapsulates a lot of what the year was, which was women rappers were
Oh yeah, they were hot.
killing
Lotto,
it this year, right?
Glorilla.
A lot of honorable mentions on the women's side of rap, rap and hip hop, and these are specific contributions to hip hop from women, So
They holding
I
up.
think
They holding the game up for sure.
I think that's great for us to have them on the list that way. So
Okay.
all love to David James, Passport
All
Rap,
love to David James, Passport Rav. Everybody go check out that project, Nonfiction.
Yeah.
It's a great project.
It's great.
All right, so where we're at right now is Blue Lips, Alligator Bites, Rhapsody. Sounds like you want Vince Staple there.
I need it.
All right, so that's four. So then our fifth one is going to be.
What are we between Soul Burger and?
Soul
Is that what
Burger?
we're doing?
Yeah, Soul Burger. And
no, right? Because we said 5, right? We
oh
needed
no,
5.
we said 5. So yeah, no, that's it. So we're at Doechii, Soul Burger, Dark Times, uh, Rhapsody's album. Was it We Cry, We Don't Cry? Was it?
Please don't cry.
Please Don't Cry. Doechii and Blue Lips. That's 5. All right, there it
Yeah.
is. There it
There you
is.
go.
They're the nominees,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
So let us know what y'all think in the comments on that. Those are
Please.
the nominees. We're gonna roll out these we're gonna roll out the winners later. We
Yes,
might have to
sir.
just slide an album of the year in there because we're going to be disappointed based on whatever gets picked. Quite frankly,
It's gonna be tough.
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments of those nominees. If there's anyone we left out, let us know who we left out. We will promptly either like it or shit on it. But either way, we'll consider it. Yeah, man. I was gonna give you some Billboard Hot 100, but GNX doesn't have as many songs because Christmas songs are taking over right now. So
Mariah Carey on that.
Oh man, she's killing it.
She's killing
every
it
year.
again. Here
Every
I
year,
go.
man. She takes the number 1 spot, but Kendrick had it for like a couple weeks. He
That's
was
the
like,
one
"Hey."
time I believe Billboard is when
Yeah.
like Mariah Carey back on top. Fucking
Yeah, Mariah
seems
Carey
right.
number 1. GNX still popping. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar putting the West back. Hey, the West man is just enforcers for this rap shit, bro. That's all it is. He's we got to get all this sucker shit up out of here.
Hey,
shout out to J. Cole before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Podcast's really good.
Yes.
I like what he's doing for the rollout, right? Which is getting everybody feeling. It's what Drake tried to do, but he didn't go shut the fuck up and do it. Like he's a fucking dork.
Yeah,
so
J. Cole's actually,
J. Cole is actually doing the
way.
thing we wanted Drake to do, which was shut the fuck up and go away for a little while and then let us forget that you was on some dumb sucker shit.
Yeah.
And then we could like move on from it, right? So J. Cole did that. I did buy his podcast because I support. And it's good. He's dropped his mixtapes. He's dropped some releases that we haven't heard and all of the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really, really impressed with what he's doing. And it is a good way to get you J. Cole stans feeling nostalgic about where J. Cole is. And I really hope the fall off is more like 2014 Forest Hills Drive and For My Eyes Only, and not like KOD and Off Season, because those 2 albums were trash. I don't care what anybody says. And I actually liked.
Not trash.
I actually liked KOD until I listened to it recently, and I was like, "This is not good. I'm not enjoying this."
I was always baffled that you love KOD because I was like, I don't know, like that was like my least favorite.
it is my and Off Season was just not that good. Like it's fine.
Off Season was cool. It was cool, man.
It had cuts, but it wasn't a good project. Might delete later. I know that's on everybody's like nominee list for album of the year. It was not that good. It was it was cool, but of the music we had this year, it was not better than the albums we just nominated. That's for sure.
Right.
So hopefully the fall off is that J. Cole. Right, the pre a lot J. Cole.
Okay.
Right, because a lot I think is where he like announced on 21 Savage's track, like I'm switching it up. You know what I mean? Because I've been trying to get my music out here and y'all niggas ain't listening, so I'm going this way now. So the pre a lot J. Cole, I feel like needs to get it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. Yeah. So yeah, like there it is. There we go. I gave J. Cole some love for you.
Hey, look at that.
For you.
Yeah, woo.
For you, I gave J. Cole some love.
Yeah, woo.
So yeah, shout out to J. Cole. Shout out.
Yeah, man. Hey, look at he's out here doing everything and anything. He's like, hey man, I'll live stream it. Subscribe to my.
No one, please just like me, man. Come on, man. I'm trying.
Whatever you need, man.
Come on, man. I give you some content. Come on, man. Just trying to get some love out here. Shout out to J. Cole doing his thing. Hopefully his album is good, because if it's not, I'm fucking frying it up. I'm telling you that right now. But I hope it's good. Can't wait for the GNX Studio Stadium tours. I'm going to be trying to go to the LA one. So, Nene, we need to go to the LA one.
We do.
I'm going to also try and go to the DC one, because I want to see how he's being felt outside of the hometown, LA. So I'm going to try. And Quartermaster is actually going to the Atlanta one. So we going to see. We gonna get some video for y'all of how Kendrick Lamar is jumping off across the country.
It's gonna be global, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
We have correspondents in all 50 states ready.
He's gonna show you how to not take a forever L like Drake.
Yeah.
Drake is like that meme of that guy that just keeps slipping on the ice. Just bust your ass, Drake. Yeah, just whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. Just bust your ass, Drake.
Powder, I endorsed it. I had to monetize my market. The only trapper to put an ATM outside of my apartment. Hustlers ride around in Porsches. Yes, man, cried around in